So toxic people, when they enter the room, you can start feeling it already. You feel that heaviness, don't you? You feel that sort of like ickiness, and you feel
something's in the air.
Correct, and you feel like your body just want to run away.
I started to go, I get it. It makes sense. I can see it. And then, you know what? The weirdest thing is when you start to have that perspective, I literally looked at everyone and thought they all liked me. Oh. And I always and then because I feel like they all like me, because now I've been brainwashed, it's all lust, it's all beautiful at the beginning. and that's the danger part, because then all of a sudden you don't even know when it became toxic. You don't even know when it became negative.
When the onion starts peeling, and it's like pleasant, toxic, maybe a little bit pleasant.
Welcome back to another episode of In Her Steps. And today, a topic that we often, I guess, hear about, come across, gone through it in the past.
Yes.
Going through it now is around dealing with negative people, dealing with toxic people. Maybe it could be your partner that you have had to leave. Maybe you're going through it right now with someone that is creating a lot of grief for you. And how do you, sometimes you're not even aware, how do you diagnose and identify that? And then what do you actually do about it?
Oh my goodness, Lynn. I think when it comes to toxic people, I mean, we're all energetic beings, right? So I believe that we have this energy vibration. So toxic people, when they enter the room, you can start feeling it already. You feel that heaviness, don't you? You feel that sort of like ickiness, and you feel
something's in the air.
Correct, and you feel like your body just want to run away. So how I usually detect, as soon as I sort of feel a little bit of somebody like that, then I would remove myself from that sort of perimeter. Because if I know that I'm going to stay in there a little bit longer, they're like vampires. They just suckle your energy and they make you feel awful. I mean, how do you feel? Like, do you detect them?
Yeah, I mean, it is quite hard to follow your instinct sometimes, because you meet someone and you're like, you feel funny, but then for me, I always give people the benefit of the doubt, because it's maybe they're shy, maybe they're introverted, maybe they don't know me. So I actually lean in. It's really weird.
Oh my God. I run away and you're leaning in.
I'm actually like, hey, let me show love. Let me show you that you can like me. Maybe it's a people pleaser side of me wanting to go, yeah, you are a bit funny, but you know what? Like, let me show you that I am likable.
I don't know, Lynn. I don't think you're a people pleaser person. I think you're more like, your heart is just so big, it's ridiculous, that it's almost like you're innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah,
that's you.
Yes.
So it's not so much like people pleasing, but I think you're more like, I just want to make sure that, you're not misunderstood, that you understand. I want to take care of you. I want to show you love. But those people, they actually don't vibrate on the same vibration. So you're just jarring at each other.
And I'm like, it comes down to my personality. Like, if you tell me this is hot, I'll be like, well, let me feel it first. And if it's hot, all right, now I know what you mean, because I just don't want to assume too soon. But I think, let's talk about, I guess, the different types of people in our life that could be toxic.
Okay.
It could be our family. It could be friends.
That's the one we can't run away from.
It could be family, and it could be your lover, even someone at work, right? Have you come across all of those?
I would say tick, all of them.
Yeah. I agree. They all come in different shapes and sizes, and often you can't see it first. When you're talking about someone walking in the room and you can feel it straight away, it's not always as distinctive as that in other circumstances. Like, it's all rosy, it's all lust, it's all beautiful at the beginning, and that's the danger part, because then all of a sudden you don't even know when it became toxic. You don't even know when it became negative.
When the onion starts peeling, and it's like pleasant, toxic, maybe a little bit pleasant, and then toxic all the way.
Yeah. So like, I'll give you an example. I guess, like, starting with if I would say, what's my earliest memory of something negative and quite toxic for me was my own family. Thank God we are very good. We're in a good position now, and we love each other. But I would say that it was a very innocent. The thing about being toxic is people always, they don't intend to. It's like they didn't intend to hurt you, but because they have this, they've got their own belief, their own opinion, their own upbringing, that they project a lot of negativity on you. So in my case with my parents, it was more about them wanting to protect me from failure. So they were so negative about everything. No, you can't do that. No, that won't work. Who do you think you are? Not in a sense, like now I'm reflecting back. At the time I was very angry. I was just like, how could you do that to your own child? Like, how could you not be supportive? But
Lynn, you're talking about Asian parents.
yeah, Asian parents in particular. But they're so opinionated. Like there's different levels. You might not agree with something, but you just like, oh, you know what? Let them do it. I don't really care. But they went the other way. It's like, let me convince you that you cannot do it. And it took me a long time to heal that and actually look back. You know what? It's just that they didn't know it's possible. So it's like they feel like I'm about to take a leap into the wrong direction.
Yeah. It's almost like you're leaping over the edge of the mountain.
Yeah, and they don't want
to
see me fail.
Yes.
So they were just trying to hold on to me, control me, and take that. And so it became toxic. And then so what did I have to do? I actually even ran away, multiple times, moved away from home and kind of took time away from them. And it would always get a bit better when we come back, because the thing about family is that they're always your family. So you do want to make it work.
Like I say, you can't run away from them.
Yeah. But I think ultimately the reason why it healed is that I was able to prove to them that, hey, everything you believed was wrong. Like, see, I met a man of my dreams and he isn't married. He had never been married before, never had kids. See, with hard work and determination, I can be successful. And so the good thing about them is they weren't stubborn and like, no, I still don't believe you, because remember, they came from a good place. So they're like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that. And so then we've come around and they also have done their own personal development. So I'm so grateful that, because it's their family and I never would want to lose my family. And luckily we've kind of gone our own path and
then come back.
Yeah.
I think everyone just usually do their personal growth in their own way. And it's not the one way. It's like, this is how I'm going to do my personal growth. So you must do it like this because this is the only right way. It's not like that. I think when it's like your family, when we love each other enough, we let each other go to grow, and then we come back. And like I say, we can't run away from our family. Like, we talk about Asian families, so all the Asian people out there, I'm sure they understand this. When your parents kind of go, oh, you're good for nothing. Mine is like, oh, stop eating that pie in the sky. It's like this. It's like and in their head, behind what they're saying, what they don't realize is, you amount to nothing. So whatever it is that you want to achieve, you can never achieve it. And so one day I remember saying, you know what? I am just going to be happy. Whether I achieve it or not, whether I fail or not, I'm just going to keep going, and I'll be happy dying, fighting for that pie in the sky. Like, that's literally what I have to say back.
Yeah.
Because I was just so fed up with it. And I just get to a point where I have to walk away to actually heal myself, knowing that, we come back when the timing is right. When when everyone's energy vibrations like this. But when we're like this, and then we can come back.
Yeah. And look, it comes down to them, their own upbringing. That's all they know. They've been criticized and been talked to like that, so they just think it's normal to talk like that. And I also think sometimes they're broken and hurt inside. I mean, I was guilty of that. Because of my upbringing, I was very angry too. And so I was taking it out on my relationships and people that I meet. And I've done some wrong things when I was growing up as well. But that is why it's so important to, I guess, number one is you can empathize, but at the same time, you kind of allow them to learn at their own pace.
Oh, God.
And protect our boundaries.
I know, you just make me laugh, Lynn, because every single time you say something, it comes to mind that, oh my goodness, I did the opposite. And so you know how you are lashing out at everybody? Yeah. I was very unhappy, like growing up, and things like that too. But I didn't lash out at everybody. I actually did the opposite. I kind of look at everybody, I feel sorry for them because they're like me. They're unhappy, they're whatever. So I'll just go in and do the extra nurturing, which is, and it's still the nurturing bit is still with me today, which and it's really funny. But we show up in so many different ways with the same intention. Similar intention, but showing up differently.
That's right. Well, now let's talk about relationships. And an example that is super clear for me is a guy I dated before my husband, which was a blessing in disguise because it was the most personal growth because of that relationship. But boy, it was so toxic. But I didn't know it was toxic until a little bit later. So you know, you meet someone, it's lust, it's so exciting, it's like fireworks.
Okay.
And then
Fireworks.
it comes down, and then
I haven't had fireworks, Lynn.
And then it starts at the beginning. It was like, I love you so much. You are everything to me. It's like as if he even said, like, every day is like Christmas for me now that I met you. And so there was all these good things that you're drawn in, and all of a sudden, the comment starts to becoming, no one will ever love you like I do. And then, you know, and then all this brainwash around you, all of a sudden feeling like without them, you won't have that kind of love.
Yes.
And obviously by this time, I'm like, I want to settle down, and I'm really putting everything into this relationship. And then there's a little shift. It's like, it starts to become jealous. It becomes possessive, obsessive. And so then it starts to become jealous. So it's like, you know, I saw that guy was looking at you, but it was you that is causing that.
Yeah, it's you instigating that look, that glance. Okay,
and this was probably one of the most toxic relationships I had, because it was so much love and like obsession with me, but at the same time, so much accusation and saying, you are the reason that we're fighting because you caused that person to look at you in a different way, or I think that person likes you. So it was a lot of his insecurity projecting out there. And, you know, look, ultimately at the end, like, we were fighting so much, and you know what? He ended up cheating in the end. And so I've learned also that this whole jealousy and insecurity could drive someone to start with control and jealousy, but then they are the one end up also could hurt you, because that's the stuff that they could see already. So they're trying to prevent you, but then they fall victim to their own temptation.
It's their own temptation. They think then, just because I feel like this when I see other women, surely you must feel like this when you see other men, right? So isn't that funny? So from my perspective is, I see, you know, in some way, I kind of see everyone, oh, they're good. It's like what you do. Oh, they're good until they're proven they're not good, right? So I just take everybody as good up front. But in a relationship like that, it's very scary, Lynn, because, you know, you want to be in a relationship where you want to be yourself, and you don't want other person to come into you and trying to renovate you and then try to control you and manipulate you. So that's not a healthy relationship at all. But I'm so glad you find out.
The dangerous thing was I started to believe him, and I was so molded to the point. So, you know me, I'm very carefree and happy, and, you know, by this stage, like, I was really ready to settle down and love this person. And yet everything he started to say, I started to go, I get it. It makes sense. I can see it. And then, you know what? The weirdest thing is, when you start to have that perspective, I literally looked at everyone and thought they all liked me. And I always, like, and then because I feel like they all like me, because now I've been brainwashed, I started to play small. I started to just, like, look down. I literally wish that I could walk around with a paper bag over my head, just so I can avoid fighting. So I can avoid being accused.
You know what happened? He's just somehow made you and him energetically aligned. Like exactly the same.
Yes.
So when you're aligned, you see everything the same.
Yeah.
You feel everything the same. And so you see everything from his perspective as well. Ooh, very scary.
And you don't know how trapped you are until you got out of it. Yeah. So at the end of the day, we broke up and he moved on, and I'm glad that he did. We finished. And I was like, I felt like I was trapped in this jail that I didn't know I was in this jail.
You put yourself in jail, and you held the key.
Yeah, it's this invisible jail. And then one day I remember just realizing how toxic my mind has become, is that when a friend of mine was like, hang out with a guy friend. She just got a boyfriend. She was hanging out with a guy, dancing, and we were at a club. And I was like, babe, don't do that. I think you're gonna make your boyfriend jealous. Like, because I was looking at him like, oh my god, how could she? Like, I started judging her and saw
the way that he was.
Yes, and she's like, what? I'm not doing anything. Yeah. Like, why do I have to not dance with my friend? Like, and I know, like, now I don't know what's a healthy relationship anymore. I don't know that you can actually have a relationship where the guy just trusts you, you trust them, and you can be yourself.
Yeah, because you can just have friends.
Exactly. And then that was when I was like, oh my God, like, I am so, like, I need time to, like, unlearn everything. And then I remember going away, you know, in this year when I was single, I was like, this is the first time I realized I really need to work on myself and attract better men. And I remember clearly drawing out a vision. So I drove away to Geelong back in Melbourne, and I sat on a hill and I drew my future relationship.
husband.
Yeah.
Oh
and
my
I did
gosh.
these talking marks, like a stick figure with a
yeah,
talking
yeah,
mark.
yeah, yeah.
And it was me having a conversation with my future boyfriend who said, "Oh, who's that guy? Oh, bring him over." Like it was kind of this carefree, like, I trust you. Bring him along,
Yeah, yeah.
And I have this kind of relationship right now. My husband is the most trusting, secured guy.
Yeah, he has to be very secure in himself. So trust comes from a place of security. You have to be quite secure in yourself.
Yeah. And then now I just feel like I can be me. I feel trusted. Now I know what a healthy relationship is.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, how amazing is that you actually drew out your relationship, you manifested your relationship. And so, reality tracks and it comes and it brings into reality.
Yeah. And so I think, when us women, we're in a relationship for so long, it is really hard to even wake up and see the pattern. It's not right. Like, you don't feel comfortable. And I think the sign for us is like, do you feel at peace? Do you feel like yourself? Do you feel like, relaxed when you wake up? Or are you always feeling like you're walking on eggshells?
Lynn, let's remember, women are born to give to have children. We are born to endure. So of course we're going to endure. It's like, you live next to the train track all the time. Now, we know it's uncomfortable. We know it's there. But after a while, we don't even hear it. And then one day when we go to somewhere that is like silent, or we see a friend that's in a relationship that is healthy, you say, hang on, that doesn't look like mine. Is that even possible? Is that even real? Yes, it is. But because we as women have such high tolerance level that we keep tolerating.
Yeah.
And I wish more women would look within and then,
Yeah. And then often, it always reminds me of there's this analogy of, when they train elephants from really young and they tie the legs up and then it can't go anywhere. But even, by the time it grew up and they took away
it still wouldn't go.
It wouldn't go anywhere now because it's just conditioned.
Yes.
It's just stuck there.
Yep.
And so it's like, how do we unlearn and break free and realize, any tips around that for you?
I think, for me personally, like when I'm in a relationship, anything that I feel is toxic or whatever, I will slowly detach myself. Like I will take myself out of the equation because like whenever we're in any situation, we have two choices. One is to react to it, which is head-on fighting, or two is to remove ourselves from it and work on myself.
Yes.
Like I'll just work on myself. I don't know if you've read the book, The Art of War, but that is a little bit something like, how do we achieve something without going to war over it?
That's so correct.
Yeah, so
because it always comes down to like, why are you in this position?
Yes.
Why did you allow yourself to be in this position?
Correct.
And then that's when I had this awakening. I am the problem.
Yeah.
I am lacking love from my parents growing up. I needed someone to fill up my cup. So I was also quite needy and desperate and kind of like settling with this particular person. And it wasn't until I'm like, you know what, I need a year off and actually work on myself, learn to be alone, learn to travel alone, comfortable alone, love myself. And all of a sudden you're healed now. You attract like. And now then I was able to attract the better version of me.
I know, how great is that? Like I would wish women, like people who are in between relationships or anything like that, would like what you did. Take a year off and have an emotional detox. I call it an emotional detox because it's when you don't bring in any more relationship, because the problem is when we are so toxic on the inside, like energetically toxic, because it's all like tangled up and confused. We don't know what we want. Like nothing's in alignment. What we want in our heart is not in our head. It's not energetic. We're not vibrating any of those things. And so we become this entangled mess, like all the threads tied, all the knots everywhere. We just need time to sort of like let everything go, find out who we are, and then we're in, like you say, a better place, and then we can attract the right person get ourselves in alignment first.
Yeah, that's right. And look, if we're still in the current relationship now,
we can still do
some work. We can start to go, hey, take some life coaching sessions.
Honey, let's do it together.
Yeah. I mean, you can work on yourself or you can try to work on the relationship. But if you work on yourself, you can start to, like see new things. It's like you can come into the relationship with a different point of view.
Correct.
Whether it's meant to be or not meant to be. But it's not something that you have to wait. Let me break up first, then I'll do the work. It's like, do the work now.
Definitely. I always say yes, I agree too. Do the work now. And sometimes some people work better on their own first and then work with their partner. But sometimes, both of them can go into. But only two people, if they were to work together, they have to be quite honest at the same time and be willing to be vulnerable. And the problem is sometimes, one will have more sort of an ego than the other person, and they just end up going to session just fighting. Oh, you did this, and that goes nowhere.
Yeah.
So, but you're right in a way that's saying, you know what, even if you're working on yourself first, when you're facing with this situation, the way you handle will be different, because what you see will be different, because now you have new insights.
Yeah. And look, I think we need to differentiate between the different levels of negativity, right? There are people that are just pessimistic and a little bit of a worrywart. And so it's something that you're like managing it, circumstance-wise. It's just like, hey, here is a different angle to seeing things. Are you all right? So you're just like calming their nerves through circumstance. But then there's certain people that are just delving into drama. They basically are so, their childhood trauma or so broken that everything they see is twisted.
Yeah.
Everything they do is manipulated. They're like, I don't know, like every day is like walking on eggshells. And that's the part that we need to be careful with.
Yes.
And I would say that in order to, I guess, identify it is a big problem, is that look around you, the results. Are you happy? Do you feel like your career is growing? Do you feel like your friendship connection is growing? Do you feel like you're still close to your family? Or are other things being affected and damaged?
Yeah. Other things all collapsing around you.
Yes. And so then what's the common denominator? It is
it's you.
this person or you tolerating this, right? And that's where we need to really do something about it.
I think the saddest part is, okay, now there's two factors I can see from here. One is, okay, yes, the funny part is, I wouldn't say funny, but the sad part is the person who is in this negative stage, which I call someone who's in very low vibration, they are going to vibrate from there. So everything they see that's their reality at this low place. But the saddest part is if they're with someone who's in a high vibration, that's when my heart breaks. Because this person who is in a high vibration, if you're in a relationship, let's say if you're husband and wife with this person, and let's say your husband is somebody who's right down here, like what you had like a boyfriend before, like in your situation, and he's like here. And you're sort of like here and here, like you're trying to get here, but you're someone here and here. But he will always drag you down until one day he drags you down to here. That's why when you start seeing at people, you're starting to feel like him, think like him, and see things like him. So this is where I get really worried when you have somebody who's like here, dating or married to someone who's like up here. In the beginning, this person will be big enough to look at everything, justify everything, make excuses, everything's all right. But they're in this relationship where they don't realize that they're being dragged down to here. Right. It's like what you were experiencing. I didn't even know I was down there until I left that relationship.
It just takes away so much of your potential in life.
Correct.
Because you always feel smaller. You don't want to even see people. You don't want to see friends because you just want to avoid problems. And then all you do is spend time crying, upset, hoping that you won't. Hopefully today I'm going to wake up and have a good day. He's not going to pick on me. It's such a sad place to be.
I know. But have you ever thought what happens if it's the other way around, the dynamics where you actually get a woman who is like, we've given an example where you were up here and he's down here. Now, let's shift the balance for a little bit and imagine she's down here and he's up here. What does that look like? Very scary.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, it's all about us just doing the work and going, if I'm not happy with the result, if I'm not happy with the outcome or whatever I'm seeing, it's like, how can I make an impact? How can I improve my level? And often we all think we're right in some way, right?
Of course,
and
it's
so
our perspective.
We have to just be open-minded and see what areas that we can improve. Let's talk about why people stay, because I do feel like I remember some of the excuse I have is like, but I just love him. I'm just so in love. And we've just had a great year, or like I don't want to waste that time we've been together. And I don't want to start again.
Yeah, I don't. And what happened if I can't find one better than him that I love more?
Maybe this is all I can. This is all I deserve. So, yeah.
Well, I guess I can't say I've been in that situation, so I don't have those thoughts, but I can imagine when people are in a relationship, like a very strong, intense, romantic relationship, that's probably one of the hardest relationships to break. But often enough, I would say the reason why it's so intense is because the intensity, let me tell you something. What I find that by observing a lot of people, the intensity isn't between the people. The intensity lies between you and the imagination in your head.
Yes.
You are imagining, okay, I love this guy, he's the best, he's great. So you're not loving this guy, you're loving this guy, which means if that's the person that you're loving in a thought that's in your head, a vision, an imagination of what the relationship can be. So when you're in that space, when women kind of feel like, oh, you know what, I'm in a violent relationship, and, he doesn't love me, but I can't leave him because I love him. Now, a lot of the love that you have for him actually isn't him, it's actually here. So we're in love with this thing in our head. It's not even the other person. So if you actually, once people realize that, then they go, okay, well, I actually don't need this person because you're not the one I love. Yeah. Actually, I love the idea of you.
Yeah. There was two things that I learned actually is that we don't actually love the person. We love the feeling that we get from this relationship. And then
let me ask you something. Where's that feeling coming from?
Yeah, like the thought you're imagining.
Correct. Yeah. Because you love the person because the feeling of being this person. And the feeling comes from the thought that you have about the person.
Yeah.
It isn't anything about the person at all, which is ridiculous.
So then, because sometimes you feel like, oh, how am I going to ever find this person again? Because you're thinking that it's irreplaceable because I need this person. But what I've learned, I can't remember the book that I learned, it was that when you meet someone again who gives you the same love or like makes you feel connected or loved, because remember, you have a problem with this person because they do bring a lot of negative to you.
Yes.
But somehow you're just like, but I love this person, which makes you feel like there's no other way. Whereas if you really think about it, you just need to find another person who also gives you that feeling of love, feeling like you are important. And then all of a sudden you actually forget that person really quickly. And it's so true.
Yeah.
Like you thought that you're going to need years to even
What, here comes Phil and okay, you're gone.
It was gone. It was gone in a heartbeat. So that was one. I can't remember what I was going to talk about the other one. Forgot now.
Oh, okay. That's right. We'll come back to that one in a minute. But isn't it funny how they say, even I think heartbreak or relationship, it gets like you improve on the recovery. Like, your first heartbreak will probably like, oh my God, it's broke. Like I just don't know how I'm going to live. You go from I don't know how I'm going to live to the point where, then it gets easier. And the more heartbreak you have, the easier it gets.
Yes.
Isn't that funny?
Yes.
Because we know.
We can handle it.
Yes. We've
the
experienced
first heartbreak
it.
would be so hard.
Yes.
The lucky thing for me was I was the one that did a lot of heartbreaking early on in my life. And so I was like, oh, it's easy. Yeah, you could just move on and date around. But that was because I was the one doing the breaking up. But that's why I said that was the most life-changing relationship, even though it was the most painful. It was the first one that I felt like I'm not in control. That it humbled me. And it made me look inwards. It made me go like, oh my God, I'm actually not that great. And maybe I can learn something from this. And then from then on, I really grew.
Yes, Lynn, our pain is a preparation for, what's better to come. So that's why, each of us, like each time that people feel like, I always feel like, in toxic relationship, we'll feel the pain. Surely we'll feel the pain because they're vomiting toxins on us, right? So I feel like, whenever I find myself, whether it's from work or from, whatever, I do keep my circle quite close. I mean, even the work that I do, I love doing what I do. And I meet lots and lots of people. So I can give from a stage or from, training to a lot of people at the same time, but still my circle is very close, because I just want to, I don't want to say that I want to control the people, the type of energy, but I want to select the type of energy that I want to be close to.
Yeah.
So that's why, Lynn, every single time I come and talk to you or see you or have dinner with you, it's always a blessing. Like I feel excited. Like when I think about, I'm going to go and do a podcast with Lynn today, or we're going to go and hang out or do something, my heart just sings.
Because we bring positive vibes to
I know,
each other.
because I know, I can anticipate, I'm not going to go there and have negativity. I know I'm going to go there and enjoy myself. And I know that I'm going to be so happy.
Yeah, that's right. I just remembered now my second point is there was a quote called, I can't remember who says it, but it's like, don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great.
Yes.
And so I always remind myself that, like, even though this is, you're in it because there's still something good there.
Yeah.
But it's not that perfect or not right.
Yes.
And so I'll be like, no, but I need to be brave enough to let go of that because I deserve more.
Yes.
At the end of the day, I feel like if you're not at peace, when there's something that's not sitting right, there's something there to work.
Of course, your soul would be niggling and it'll say, Lynn, something's not right here. I think in those quiet moments, we do listen to our soul. Our soul's talking to us. And it will tell us, if we're fine, if we're around somebody and, okay, we're happy 50% of the time and 50% of the time we're arguing our head off and it can get very toxic. A lot of people say, you know what? No one's perfect. No, we're not expecting anyone to be perfect. We're not perfect ourselves. And they say, just learn to work with it. Just put up with it. Look at all the people out there. Okay. So I kind of think, well, no one's perfect, but we can at least try to be happy ourselves, right? And if we are with someone, I feel like if we're with someone that we find so much pain, then that person, there's nothing wrong with that person, but that person's not for us.
Yes, that's correct.
That person's not for us. And there's not to say that, okay, something's wrong with you, I'm much better. No, I'm not much better. I'm just different. My vibration is different. My life purpose is different.
Yeah.
We're good people. That's why we like and we come together. Yeah. That's why we have 50% in common, but the other 50% is killing us,
yes.
which means we're not supposed to walk this path.
That's right. And I think comes down to like setting boundaries and it's just going like, who do I allow in my life? And if there are people that I have to allow in my life because they're family, let's say, then well, then how can you, I guess, make it more minimal and protect your heart. And I think, ultimately everyone kind of grows at your own time. Just never push that.
Well, Lynn, you know the 80-20 rules in business, right? The 80-20 rule exists in this relationship thing as well. 80% of the people will get 20% of your time. 20% of the people will get 80% of your time. So right. We now just qualify. See, a lot of people don't realize that individual, like I feel like, I wouldn't say like there are certain individuals like us, I would say. Not that we're better than anyone or worse off, but it's just how we function. So we would go, okay, I can only fit, if I have like 100 people, I can only fit 20 people in my inner circle. And even in the inner circle, there would be there. So the first 3 layers will only compose of 20 people. Then we kind of do the list and go, okay, who fits in these 20 people? And usually it's people that we're either very energetic aligned, and we are doing something together. That's why the two of us always find something to do together, because we want to be in each other's life. But we're trying, because we're both so busy. So this is one of the things that we found. So as soon as you said, when we were in Phú Quốc in Vietnam, you said, Jennifer, maybe we should do a podcast. Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe we should set up studios again. Oh, okay. Yeah. Everything was okay. Yeah. Because I knew, Lynn, that I wanted you to be in that inner circle. Like besides the family, that's the next circle. Yeah. So I said, I found Lynn in that circle, but I don't know how she fits. So because you've been intentionally placed there, when the opportunity arises, there's nothing to think about.
Yes.
So if you find that you have to think about something, then it wasn't intentionally meant to be.
This is a really good segue to understand what is a healthy relationship, or what is a relationship that you should continue to nurture and embrace. And I would say it comes down to like, does that person light you up? Does that person add value to you, make your life better because they're around you? Do you feel like you're yourself? You can be your authentic self without trying to change and trying to cater to them or anything. Correct. Is there any other ways for you to define what healthy is?
For me, healthy for me is easy. So say, for example, 2 people, if you're meant to hang out together, everything's easy. Have you noticed? Like there are some people that you hang out, like us. Let's say we hang out. Doesn't matter. If we got nothing, let's say if we're stranded, we just look at each other and laugh and then make do. Like we don't go, oh, it's your fault that you did this. Like we don't do the blame game. We just look at the situation, figure it out, laugh, and then just endure it together. Sleep on the floor if we may. But if we wanted to go and celebrate and have a good time and we'll do whatever. And when you're out, you're always thinking about the other person, protecting the person, especially women. When we're out and about, we just need to be a little bit more mindful, right? So we automatically do that. It's on it's automatic. You don't even have to think about it. But when you're around someone that you're not supposed to be, and this is how I know when I'm around someone, so it's very easy for me to kind of very clearly know who's there and who's not there. And like, you know how some people are financially risk averse? I'm very people relationship risk averse, so I'm very, so therefore I would know right away if someone is not supposed to be close to me, because it's just very easy. I can see how they treat other people around them. That's number one thing. That's a number one giveaway. So it doesn't matter how you treat me, but what I see that you treat that person over there that does not bring you any value, you can't get anything from them, how you talk to them, how you talk to the other person, what you do.
There's a red flag there.
Yeah. Then immediately I know.
Well, I think we've covered a lot here, from what is toxic, what is healthy, the different forms of relationships, whether it's family. We didn't really touch on at work. But the best thing I love about owning my own business is I get to choose who can stay.
You're the staff. You hire the staff.
Yeah, I hire the staff. But, I've had cases where I didn't notice that person was being toxic until, like, you step out and you see it.
Oh, yeah, I've seen some of your stuff.
Have the choice. You have the choice to let them go, which is, like, amazing. So we've touched on all the different type of relationships. We touched on the fact that how to read the sign and how to let go. And ultimately, I guess the last one we didn't go deeper is around the sunken cost fallacy. Is this is when you think that, but I've already spent that much time with this person. It's like, it's such a waste to let it go. The way I see it is like, look at the rest of the years and the rest of their life that you have to put up. Can you continue to feel this way for the rest of your life?
Do you see yourself, like, from what you've seen so far, it's like, I've known this person for 10 years. Okay. Has those 10 years been amazing for you? Okay. No. Yes. Whatever. Yes. Do the same. No. Maybe rethink. Because if you're not happy with the last 10 years, the next 10, 20, 30, 50 years is going to be more of it, except for the same and more of it. Because it doesn't go better. It just expands more of the same.
Yeah. And I think the way you would see it, that not being a waste, is that what did you learn from this relationship?
Correct. Nothing is wasteful.
Yeah. Some people come for a reason and a season, and it was beneficial, like it was for you to learn and build your own character and experience.
It's to learn what I don't want.
Yeah.
It's like, but I think in a relationship, Lynn, we learn more about ourselves than the other person. I mean, the other person's there basically to be the stimulus so that we can understand ourselves. So in a situation where let's say I'm in a relationship with someone who's very toxic, what I've learned from the whole thing is, oh my God, I do have endurance. Like, how incredible is that? Just to find out that you have the stamina and the endurance and the understanding and the passion and the care to withstand all this. That's that is something that you learn, and not just like.
Yes. So there you go. There's always something to learn. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have any questions at all about your own circumstance, we'd love to hear in the comments below. Or if you've got any other questions or suggested topics, we'd love to know as well. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Jen. I enjoyed the conversation with you like always.
I know. We could talk all night.
Well, thank you so much. We'll see you again in the next episode. Bye.